morning. How is everyone good after evening rather. I'm a little sleepy. I can't get my rest like I want to. But anyway, we're gonna continue the series of You Are Already in Fear. You're already in fear. And we're gonna go to Luke 15, and we're gonna start at verse 12. So when we look at an overview of the book of Luke, it starts off with the lost coin. It starts off with the lost sheep, and then it talks about the lost son. And many of you are in a right position to lose something of value. The lost coin, the lost sheep, not the lost person. See, the lost coin, uh, that's going to represent the worldly outlook on things that many of you value things of the world. The lost sheep, we're just going to say that's going to represent the false humility that some of you have. You know, the ones that think they heal, the ones that think they deliver, the ones that think that they're worth something when they're hiding their own insecurity, their own backgrounds, their own hurt, their own feelings. And when you get to a point of that, then here we go with the two sons. And here we're going to understand the two sons, they represent a mixture of a lost coin and a lost sheep, because we're dealing with humility here. We dealing with a sense of false humility. We're dealing with a sense of entitlement. We're dealing with people who don't understand that the greatest gift you can have is a relationship with God. And I try to tell y'all, you got to watch what I say and how I say it, because I'm trying to tell you something without trying to tell you. I'm telling you about you need to do this. I'm telling you need to do. I'm teaching you about imputed righteousness. I'm teaching you about fear. I'm teaching you that what I got becomes I don't value anything, and yet everybody still valuing something. It's because you don't value the relationship with God for him to tell you some of y'all lost. And some of you are so lost within yourself, you're about to lose what you think that was of value, because whatever value you got over anything, God has more value for it elsewhere. So here we go in the book, Luke 15. It says, 15:11. Then he said, a certain man, this is a parable now. It's a parable. So y'all know what God uses. You know why Jesus, grandmama used to say when that's red, that meant Jesus was talking. Is it red in your Bible? So now, if it's read in your Bible and we're saying that Jesus teaching a parable, a lot of you ain't gonna get the revelation because you lost. It's because you got to be connected to God in order to stand when he speaks in parables. Then he said, a certain man had two sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portions of good that fall to me. So he divided him his livelihood. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, journeyed to a far country, and there wasted his possessions with prodigal living. But when he had spent all, there arose a severe famine in that land, and he began to be in want. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. That's a deep parable. It got me stressed out because of the abundance of the revelation that's going on with it. So a certain man has two sons, and for whatever reason, the younger of them said to his father, "Give me the portions of good that fall to me." A lot of you have a lot of you have things that you were not ready to receive. So here, if you can just bear with me while we just gonna assume, because I wasn't alive back then. We can assume this man was rich. We can assume that that Christ is talking about God. We can assume that the younger son didn't want to wait till he was of age to receive what he had. Because in Jewish custom, there had to be a certain time where the father divided his his inheritance among the people. And oftentimes it's usually that the oldest would get the better things. But for a special reason, maybe because of foolishness, maybe because of greed, maybe because of loneliness, maybe because of horniness, maybe because of rebellion, maybe because you didn't trust yourself. Some of you didn't ask God for things that you were not ready to handle. We just gonna make it plain. See, we got to understand what maybe this younger son, I'm tired of waiting on God. I'm tired of having to get up and do this. I'm tired of picking the wrong woman. I'm tired of picking the wrong man. I'm tired of struggling in my job. I'm tired of struggling in my business. So God, go ahead and bless me so I can be at peace. We just assuming now. We just assuming. So when you look at your life, and many of you, you have said, God then gave me that man. God then gave me the woman. God then gave me the house. God then gave me the job. God gave me the car. God gave me the business. But when we talked the other day, the blessing of the Lord maketh it rich, and he added no sorrow. And what I did, I said, let's look at my life because it's my video. Ain't nothing God gave me that I had to struggle with. And if I came to a point that I struggled with it, guess what I did with it? I let it go. I let it go. Because if God bless me, it ain't no sorrow. Can we break it down? What you struggling with, trying to hold on to, and you said God gave it to you. The best year I ever had of being in business cutting grass was last year. I had less customers, and God knows I made plenty of money. But when he said, let it go, I did it with no hesitation. Why are you struggling to keep yours afloat? Why is you dependent upon your business? You say God gave it to you. I said the best year I had. I'm talking about waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, uh, 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 and before 8:30, 8, 7, 8, 9, 9,500 grand rather, between 7, 9 grand for 3 hours worth of work. All right, I'm through. What's your credit card number? What's the 3 digits? Okay, I'm gonna send you a receipt. A certain man, see, so, yeah, I'm finna tell y'all the foolishness of God because it's the foolishness of God confined the wise. Yeah. Sometimes God will give you what you want just to show you you ain't ready for what He giving you. But you trying to hold on to something, and God trying to tell y'all ain't ready. You struggling with the house, you ain't ready for it. You struggling with the car, you ain't ready for it. I had a beat up whatever truck that was. I put new tires on it. I washed it every week. God upgraded me. I had a newer truck. I washed it every week. God upgraded me to another truck. I don't wash it every week, but I wash it frequently. Everything God gave me wasn't a struggle for me to keep. See, some of y'all didn't ask for things and God giving it to you to let you know you ain't ready, but pride says you is, even when all the signs say you ain't. God, give me my portion that fall to me. Give me my man. Give me my woman. Give me my job. Give me my husband. Give me my wife. And for some of you, God done placed it right in your face. Because just like this young man, a good father knows when his son ain't ready, but yet he hopes that his son or daughter make the right choice. When I bought my son that Dodge Charger, I said within myself, I said, I'm giving him too much too fast. And he don't really even care about the car. It been sitting there. If I don't do nothing to it, nobody don't do. And see, for some of us, we asking and we praying, God done gave, and we don't even got the key that fit. We ain't got the key to fit. But because of pride, we often partake to get things, and sometimes God gives it to you to let you know how prideful you really is, because for many of us, we don't want nobody to know that we made a mistake. Yeah, yeah, you talking good, Brother Hubbard. You got them on the ropes. This a boxing match. I ain't laying them but haymakers. Pow, pow, pow. So here, the father said, well, I'm just going to divide it. So watch this. It don't talk about the elder brother, but it said he has 2 sons. So you had one that was vocal about I want mine now, and you got one that's silent and say, I guess I'll get mine too. Why didn't the elder son say, hey, daddy, I ain't ready yet. Just go and get him his. I'm gonna wait till you get it to me. See, some of y'all that accept this stuff in silence, knowing you ain't ready for it, but you done took it anyway. Listen here. I had to get it. I don't need it. That's a cherry lime Sprite. Boy, that sucker good. I never seen that. I had to get it. That's what's wrong with y'all. You ain't never seen yourself so close to what you got that for some of you, you took what you got, but you wasn't ready to receive. That's what the elder boy did. Yeah. So what you done did, so what God done gave you that you sit back knowing it wasn't time, but you gonna make it work. You gonna make it fit. See, watch this. Silent pride is as dangerous as loud pride. So the story goes. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together. You got the you got the perfect wife, you got the perfect husband, you got the perfect job, you got the perfect car, you making the perfect money, but your spirit tore up. See, we got to see the spirit within these two sons, not their actual actions. Because it doesn't say too much about the elder, it's focusing on the younger. I'm trying to prove to you that's what I was kind of saying earlier. Sometimes your natural actions don't meet what's in your spirit. So we can assume he wanted to see what it's like to live the perfect life. See, when he left from under his father, can't nobody tell him what to do. He ain't gonna receive no correction. He ain't gonna see no rebuke. He got this money. He gonna get these girls. He gonna trick, is what the word we use. He tricking. Yeah. But when he tricking, because he being tricked, he had to go somewhere else. See, that's why I tell y'all, when y'all fall out with your friends, with your boo things, with your exes, the first thing they do is what? Delete you on social media. Cause see, they got to go in a far country. Because see, they know they gonna say a lie to, and they don't want you to say nothing to rebuke the lie that they talking about. See, that shows you what pride is. I ain't delete nobody. But if I see you lying on me, I ain't gonna say nothing. If I see you telling falsehood, I ain't gonna say nothing. Because I'm not in a far country. I'm in the kingdom. That's the first thing they do. Delete and block. So now they're whorish, the whore can come out of them. The things that they say they do for their men and their women that they didn't do for the man and the woman they had for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Now, what y'all say? Now they back outside. Now it's raunchy Regina. Yeah, it's loose Lily. Oh yeah, it's big nasty Kurt. Yeah, yeah. So watch this. See, you can tell when some of you ain't ready for what God gave you, you try to distance it from everything. It's like a newborn baby coming out of the hospital. Y'all don't let it out y'all sight. Y'all like watchdogs. What you doing? Because your spirit ain't right. And there wasted his possession with prodigal living. Yeah. Prodigal living. Let's look that up. Let's look that on up for you slow folks. Spending money or resources freely and recklessly, wastefully extravagant, having or giving something on a lavish scale. See, some of y'all around here buying women, y'all buying men, you eating $300 and $400 dinners, but watch Brother Hubbard. Brother Hubbard, look at you wasting your money on product of living, but when the bills due, you ain't got no money. When the car note due, you ain't got no money. When you need money for gas, you ain't got no money. But wait a minute. Did I just see you big balling? But you ain't got no money. What you mean you need groceries? What you mean you need gas? So y'all, you big balling. But when God wants something, dog God. Well, God, what about? Well, God, I got it. But you went balling. You was balling. Something ain't right. Why you can't let that woman go nowhere? Why that man can't go nowhere? Why y'all got trackers on these cars? Why y'all picking up these iPhones? Locate me. See, that's why I was talking about fear. Because if God gave you something, it should be no fear of you losing it. I'm finna help y'all. You single folks that want to get married, it's still some individuality in you. Don't mistake concern for control. Don't mistake. Hey, that's cold. Yeah. Bring me some of that. Girl, I'm from the country. What you use your hands? Another thing. Which one? This one? Yeah, I trade that. Thank you. It's like grandma them used to do it. You don't get on the computer. Ugh. You don't like it? I'm gonna eat it because it's cold. Well, that's the one that you bought. Yeah, it was sweet when I cut it. Yeah, I know it. So what we got to understand is that a lot of us, we're preparing, and some of us have things that we are not qualified to handle. And we too afraid to lose it, so we overcompensate, or we trying to make it fit into who we are. And sometimes you just got to admit you made a mistake and move on. Yeah, that tastes like trash. I ain't had a good watermelon all year and the season about over. I think I'm gonna get them seeds. I'm gonna go get me a pot. I'm gonna start growing my own. So now you wasting who you are trying to prove to somebody that you worthy. See, that's what he did. He didn't know nothing about life. He didn't know nothing about women. He didn't know nothing about a budget. So he buying affection. He buying friends. He doing things he don't normally do. My heart goes out for some of you I be looking at, and you trying to prove it so hard to a man or a woman that you the one, that you don't see that you losing who you are, trying to prove to something to somebody that you worthy, and you fail to see you ain't prepared for what you got. But when he had spit it out, there arose a severe famine in that land. And he began to be in want. I was calling my friend in Birmingham to see if he had a house. My mama needed a house down there. All right. And he asked me about the woman in Birmingham. He said that woman in Birmingham, man, I don't give them no names, y'all. They're not worthy to come out of there. I said, man, I don't want to talk about her. I said, I don't have no words for her. I said, you can't keep letting a snake bite you just because you got the anti-venom to overcome. You got to let a person know you ain't in to play with. You got to let them know. Yeah, you know how they call it and they ask them, see, why you asking about me? See, y'all see, this what gets me, y'all. If you got a problem with me, why do everybody know you got a problem with me but me? I don't even know what the problem is, but yet you want to ask about me. Y'all hear y'all hear how sometimes I tell y'all because people don't want to grow up, they leave before time. So they got to ask about me because guess what? Ain't number one brother Hubbard. I don't ask about them. When I call Joey or Joey text me, I don't ask about his mama. I don't fool with folks like that. I don't, I don't care. See, when you ain't did nothing to somebody, but because of their own selfish mindset, way of life, I let them have what they want. Brother Hubbard, all right. And it only can get better. Only can get better. Matter of fact, this cherry lime is the start of it get better. I wish I had some ice. That's what I should have said. Cause it's done watermelon. But you know what? When you wake up, see, I got a well-stocked refrigerator over there. You know, old Doc keep it stocked. See, it's something. Okay, I ain't gonna say that. But that Holy Spirit be on me. So a severe famine rose. What would you do if all of a sudden what you know God and gave you, you lose it. Would you cry? Suppose they say they don't want you in relationship. Well, I don't feel this working. What would you do? See, a lot of us, we, how can I put this? A lot of us are mentally ready for relationships, but we're not spiritually ready. And he began to be in one. How do you know what you doing is pleasing to God? How do you know what you doing is pleasing to the person you with? It's easy to be in things when we benefit from it, but the person, place, or thing has no benefit in it. That's why oftentimes when I say something, I say I ain't got no dog in the fight. It means that for many of you, whatever you think you're doing is positive, you do understand it's coming out negative. So the son, he went and joined himself to a citizens of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. This was a Jewish boy. Jews don't handle pork. Jews don't eat pork. Jews don't be around pork. So now some of you doing things that you don't normally do to keep something that you want, and the way you keeping it is things that you never done before anybody else. But you're doing everything you do to prove that you worthy to somebody who really see you as worthless. So what you gonna do? Because you're trying to put yourself in a place, in a space of time, in a level with people that they don't even measure up to who you are. But you want to fit in. That's like me growing up. I used to hang around my friends. They drank. I wasn't no drinker, but I go buy the real expensive liquor because I wanted to fit in. And then I'm sitting there trying to drink. Boy, I remember that night. I think I dropped me about 2, 3 Coronas, and I made it home. And I pulled my little pull-out couch. I laid on that darn that pull-out mattress. Trash. And I heard about it, but I experienced it. When that wall went to spinning, I said, this ain't for me. I used to hear about it. And if y'all, that's for real. Man, my stomach was so upset. Because watch this. I don't see how people drink Corona. It ain't got no taste with me. Lemon lime. You know what kind of man I was. But if I would have brought those beers in there, I was a past Blue Ribbon man. Them darn beers tasted so. I don't know what it was. Them was the cheapest thing you could find, but boy, they tasted so good. And I came in there with these darn Coronas. I think I bought a case. I had 3. Cause I'm looking around, everybody drinking, everybody booed up. I ain't got nothing. I said, let me go on back home. Oh, I ain't gonna talk about the ribeye steaks I bought. I ain't even get none of them. But when I laid on that bed, I said, no, this ain't for me. Now, watch this. I don't drink. My dad was an alcoholic. My brother, alcoholic. My sister, she just do whatever. My mama takes sips. What I said about y'all, what I said earlier, I'm trying to paint y'all a picture. But if I married a woman, I didn't care if you drank. But if I got a history like that, why would me going out drinking bring happiness to somebody? And all I seen in my life from people that does that was destruction and death. My dad died from cirrhosis of the liver. My brother drank so much that sometime when I go around, he ain't even drinking. I could smell it come out his system. My sister, whatever get her high, she wanted. So why would a person find happiness? And I done said things like that. See, I ain't just telling. I don't tell different. I add testimonies in as God give them to me because some stuff I did so much I forget. But I make sure I talk about alcoholism now. Now, Brother Hubbard going to one of them good restaurants or them little Mexican restaurants, I'm gonna get me one of them margaritas. Yeah, old frozen. I don't want that on the rim. I might get a virgin or I might take the liquor. I'm gonna take 4 sips and use when I would with the. I just gave it away. I just like to taste the fruit of drinks. I'm not an alcoholic though. All right. So now the very thing that you in want for is the very thing a lot of y'all can't give. Mm, you can't give it. And the very thing that a lot of us looking for, they can't give it to us. So what do you do when you in want? What this man did, it said he would gladly have filled his stomachs with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. So now we talking about a Jewish boy that when you understand, they didn't fool with pork. So now he's so desperate. Guess what? He began to do things that he normally wouldn't do. You got to look at yourself for some time and you got to see how low will you go. We ain't talking about that Miami bass music. We ain't talking about, you know, shaking that thing. We talking about how much would you lose yourself just to keep somebody else. And see, for many of you, no one gave him anything, which means nobody paying you no attention. Nobody ain't doing this. So what you do, you begin to act out. So how you act out? You go on social media, you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram. So the men they put on these tight gray pants so you can see their meat hanging out. Then you got the women up there with and they got their meat hanging out because everybody want attention. See, one thing about God, you can say you modeling, you can say you doing it for this reason, do this reason. But one thing about God, you can't be in God and deliberate go against his word. So if he say modest, why we see a print? I'm talking about men and women. Why we got to see your muscles? So now we got to understand that a lot of you got to change your game plan if you're trying to live for God. And for many of you, guess what? It ain't working the way you thought it's gonna work out. I heard a story one day, and the story said, see, somebody told them, what how they put it? They said the guy told him, "I'm single, but you ain't." Y'all know what that means. Y'all know what that means. But why do women listen to things like that? You losing yourself. That's what happens when you lose yourself. Because then, even when you know you done wrong, you can't accept it as wrong because you think it's right. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants had bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants." When are you going to come to yourself? When, ain't nothing wrong with telling people this ain't working. Ain't nothing wrong with saying, okay, I misjudged. Ain't nothing wrong with saying, hey, somebody making a fool out of it. When are you going to come to yourself? Because that mask you got on, that face, that fake sense of self, that fake sense of I got it together. Everybody can see it, but you. I just told you. When you put the plumb line on it, if your decision was of God and by God, ain't no way in the world you around here struggling. Ain't no way. So here, when this younger son, when he came to himself, he didn't want to come as a son. He said, make me like a servant. Let's look at that. He done spent all his money. So he spent his inheritance. So he ain't got nothing else to work for. But now he just want to eat and a place to sleep. Some of y'all like that now. You can't, you ain't got no peace, you barely sleeping, and you in your head, well, God, what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? The first thing he acknowledged was his sin. God, I ain't sin against you. He said, Father, first he said, I sin against heaven. Because as a Jewish boy, he knew the law. As a child of God, y'all know the law. You still doing what you want to do. You still told that lie. You still slander. You still lie. And you wondering why. You wondering why you ain't blessed. I got up this morning and I'm going to teach on it, but I'm just trying to let y'all know you, it's dangerous to hear the voice of God. So I'm waking up. Okay, I can't tear that one right now. So you can't hear that. So a lot of you, when you try to out me with lie, it could be the lie, it could be the truth, it could be something you assume. But whatever you do, when you try to do it, you don't understand. When you don't know who you are, when you ain't out here in the kingdom, what you doing, you sinning against God. Because the person that a lot of y'all trying to destroy, you end up destroying yourself. Because when you in the battlefield working and you changing lives and you bringing the kingdom, see, you got to have fruit that remains before you complain. So a lot of y'all want to put out people fruits of sins, and you ain't got no fruit that remains. Because number one, you trying to be something you ain't. A lot of y'all was trying to be wives and wasn't wise. A lot of you are trying to be husband, wasn't husband. But now you know what a husband and a wife is. No, you don't. Because if you did, y'all you would have had the one that you had. So now, what this prodigal son saying, it was a complete change of thinking. See, it's something when some of you know the truth and you fail to accept the truth as truth. It's something when you know you wrong and you still want to make it right. It's something when you can listen to a person who trying to get you on the right path and you still want to do what you do. The very thing that you don't want to lose, some of you already lost it, and you lost it because you didn't understand. Your thinking didn't match up with the level of the promise that you asked for.